Just about to go live. Nope, we are live now. Okay, for those of you just joining us, the start of today's lesson was going back to the glory of what I like to call third grade math, which is where you went back and by hand divided by 31,000. That's bad news bears. There we go. So, okay, perfect. Again, the question you have to ask yourself is what? Fine, nobody. Yes, Marin, finally, somebody. Okay, so how many times? Okay, does 417 go into 3? Terrible participation. Does it go into 3? No. 31? No. 316? No, because 316 is smaller, right? It's less than. Remember that actually is going to come into what we're going to do today as well. But does it go into 3,162? Yes. How many times? 7. Good job. What about, why is it not 8? Because 8 times 317 is more. Okay, so let's go through. 7 times that gives you a 9, carry a 4, gives you a 1, carry a 1, gives you a 29. Subtract those out. Oh, hashtag old school, got to borrow. 12 gives me a 3, gives me a 4, gives me a 2. Stop and check up. Questions so far? What operation did I perform with these two numbers? Subtraction, right. If you didn't put that sign there, put it there because we're going to have to put it there today. Am I done? No, what do I have to do next? Who else hasn't talked to you today? Grace Kimes, what do I do next? Yep, make sure you do that. That's going to be important. And then somebody else, what do you have to ask yourself? Sweet Seth. And how many times does it go in? 5. Multiply by 5. That gives me a 5. Carry a 3. Gives me an 8. Carry nothing. Gives me a 20. Subtract that out. 43 minus 8 is 35. 354. So if this is kind of old, well, way old school, but so 31,629 divided by 417 is equal to 75 plus 354 over 417. The last time probably you use mixed numbers ever in math is division. Why? Because we get a remainder. Now, if we went out to the 10th spot, so 75 point something, what would we have to change this to? Approximately right. It's about. So you'd have to change it to those wavy lines. Okay, today, second reminder. Number 2, I need a victim for this one. Sweet. Anthony is going to ask his parents for $1,008. Real quick, write out how much he wants to get from them. He wants to get $1,008 from his parents. Write out on there how much he wants to get from them. Volunteer. Easiest question of the day. If you want to volunteer for an easy one. Marin, you already did. Anthony, we're talking about you. You can't volunteer. Jillian, what would I want to write? So tell me what to write. 1,008. Are those zeros important? Yeah, because they do what thing? Talk to the person sitting next to you. What do they do? The zeros do what? The zeros do what? Who wants to volunteer the person sitting next to them? Oh, sweet. Rachel, why are those zeros important? Because they do what? They hold the place. Yes, these zeros are important. They are placeholders. Now, I hate to break this to you. You know how you write X sometimes, and I tell you, well, what number's in front of it, even though we're too lazy to write it? 1, right. Same thing with x squared minus 3. We got x squared. We got x to the 0 power, but we're really missing that x in between. That's x squared plus 0x minus 3. We have to remember for today, we have to hold this place. Now, 99 times out of 100 doesn't make any difference because why? Why would we write in 0 x's? But we have to hold places today. Just like we did to get $1,008, we have to hold that in too. Now, this is one of those things that just drives me cray-cray. You know, when your friends do something like, you know, and you're just like, stop doing that. Where does the dollar symbol go here? Thank you. You say $1,008. You always say the dollars last, but where do you put the symbol for it? In front. Yes. Just FYI, if you're ever on this thing called the Facebook or the Instagram or the Snapchat, and somebody sends you something and puts the dollar sign after the amount of money you're going to win, it's probably a scam. Just safely telling you that. So don't click on it and share your social security number. And yeah, because it's unbelievably shocking how many people fall for stuff like that. If the dollar sign isn't in the right spot, they're probably not from America. Questions on that? And I know, I realize it. It makes no sense because nobody says dollars 1008. They say it afterwards, but yet the symbol goes in front. So, questions on that? Yay, today is really fun. No, actually, it's tedious. Oh, but it's just something we got to grind through this once, and then next year, when you take honors FST or you take pre-calc, you will remember it forever and ever, the suffering you did for Beckman, and then never have to suffer from scratch again. Covered that, covered that, covered that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to do polynomial division, which is where we have a polynomial divided by a polynomial. I didn't emphasize this as much in the first period as I should have, but the top itself will be a polynomial. The bottom itself will be a polynomial. No, a polynomial divided by a polynomial isn't a polynomial. It's called a rational expression. Bless you. A rational expression is a polynomial divided by a polynomial. So let us take a look at an example, and I'll show you what we have to do. This is tedious. Oh, that's not how you spell tedious. T-D-S. Oh, T-E. That still doesn't look right either. Okay, well, let's just say it instead of writing it. This is a math class, not an English class, people. Just say it, don't write it. So this is not hard. What's that? Yes, because of... So, that was a joke. That was supposed to be relatively funny. The correct answer was sad. Dramatic play is usually sad. Well, it's definitely not humorous. Sometimes it could be, but not always. Well, if you go to a play and it's silent, I hope you knew that before you went. Like, if you go to the play and it's silent, you weren't expecting that, people could get really mad about that one. Yeah. I'll tell you, yeah, like the Phantom of the Opera. No, that's not silent. They sing the whole time. I will challenge Keating to that, though. Do a silent play next year. Practices will be much easier. You don't have to work on talking. But anyways, they're tedious. They're not hard for today. So let's take a look at an example. Oh, let's go for a relatively hard one. X cubed minus 7x plus 4. And what shall we divide that by? X squared minus 4x plus 1. Going back to our vocab words, the thing that's going to go inside the little dividey sign is going to be our divisor, dividend. thing it's going that we're dividing by is its divisor. The answer is its quotient. Do we want the exact answer, the approximate answer? Yes, you want the exact answer. Nobody wants their airplane to go all Joe Biden and land approximately on the runway, not exactly on the runway. So what do we do? Now I'm going to write stuff. If you don't have a half sheet of paper, I'd flip over to another page because this is going to be pretty long. I am going to say things that you may need to write down to help you get through this tonight. So don't just copy down what I'm writing, copy down the things that I'm saying that help it make sense to you. When I put this number on the inside, I have to remember to do what? What's the trick? What's the killer play? Think 1008. I have to be able to do what? Hold the places, right. So I got x cubes, but I don't have any x squareds, right. So I have to hold that place to the 0. So x cubed plus 0x squared minus 7x plus 4. Because just like 1008, if I only write the ones that are non-zero, I get $18. In this, I have to hold the places of the zeros as well. Stop and check up. Questions on that? All right, here's what I got to ask myself. Just like, where did I just put that? There it is. Just like I had to ask myself, how many times does 417 go into 3162? I have to ask myself the question, x squared times what gives me x cubed? X, right, so that's the first member of my quotient. Synthetic division is different than number division because we can only eliminate one term at a time. We can only eliminate one term at a time. So what do I do then? It's kind of like FOIL. I FOIL these out. So I get x times x, so there's x cubed, x times negative 4x, which gives me negative 4x squared, and x times 1, which gives me a plus x. So again, I FOILed it out. That gives me what goes underneath. Now, just like, I need to keep this there. What operation did I do to those two numbers? Subtract. What is that going to do here? It's going to change the sign of everything on the second line. What does subtraction do? Changes the sign of everything that follows. Stop and check up. Questions on that? Lillian. Say that again. That's the first thing I can multiply by to remove a term here. So in other words, I ask myself, x squared times what gives me x cubed? That's x. So that's the first term of my quotient. Just like 417 times what gives me less than this? 7. So 7 was the first member of my quotient up there. And it feels weird because what? Think about how I'm going to ask that. What operation do you think is going to follow this? Add, subtract, multiply, or divide? Plus, right? It's going to be plus. Could be minus, but probably it's going to be plus. What operation follows this? It doesn't feel like an operation, but when I put a 7 there, what number did I actually multiply this by? Not 7, but 7D, right? So then when I put the 5 in, I add the 5 to that 70 in the previous term. That's how I get 75. Some of you, I saw the pain on your face. Some of you use shortcuts to do that, and that's the shortcut involves. Is you just use 70 instead of 7, like 800 instead of 8. And it's an easier way to do the division. Okay, so I subtracted. Ooh, look at this. Volunteer, Lisa. X cubed minus x cubed is? Sir, x cubed minus x cubed is? People, you want to change your name to Lisa when you get home. Talk to your parents about that. Especially some of you guys. I would love to hear that conversation with you and your dad. Like, Dad, I'm changing my name to Elisa tonight. Perfect. We don't judge. But when I call on her, who do I probably want to hear from? Yeah. Not boys that think Well, if you want to date her, I guess that could be another reason why you're responding. You may want to get her a calculator first so she knows this. It's not usually how courtship goes. Sorry, Elisa, x cubed minus x cubed is? Yeah. Ooh, look how nice that works out. And that's the way it should work out every single time. The first term should go away. 0x squared plus 4x squared gives me 4x squared. And 7x minus another x gives me minus 8x. What do you think I do with this term? Bring it down. Because notice I have 3 terms here. I'm going to have 3 terms here. They have to match up. As soon as I can't have 3 terms here, I'm done. So in fact, this will be our last step because there's nothing else to bring down. Questions on that? Everybody totally gets that. It's so weird to have a quiet class at the end of the day. All right. What's the leading term here? What's the leading term here? 4x squared. So what do I have to multiply x squared by to get 4x squared? Yep. Then again, I kind of FOIL it out to all those terms. I get 4x squared minus 16x plus 4. Now, why do I hold the places? So that my like terms just fall nicely. Ooh, look how pretty that is. Fall nicely in line with each other. All right, subtract. That changes the operation of everything down here. 4x squared minus x squared. Yay, goodbye. Negative x squared plus 16 is 8x. And 4 minus 4 is 0. You do not. The only time you really need to hold the place is in here and in here. In here and in here, just so the like terms fall in line with each other. So it's my final answer. X plus 4 plus my remainder, 8x over x squared minus 4x plus 1. Feels weird, doesn't it? But don't worry. The real life applications of this are substantial. Like I expect, hold on just a second. I expect Braden back there to maybe make a bad turn tonight, end up, in that dark alley behind the loaf and jug over there by the car wash, by the car wash over there. Somebody come up to him and be like, hey, what's x cubed minus 7x plus 4 divided by x squared minus 4 plus 1? And him to just be like, good thing I learned that math today. Seth. Plus part of Calc 2. And then Calc BC would cover everything in Calc 2 and some of Calc 3. But if you went to School of Mines, Calc AB covers almost identically what's in Calc 1 at School of Mines. And then Calc BC covers almost identically what's in Calc 2 at School of Mines. So it just kind of depends on what college you go to. Now, you probably know, if you go to the Air Force Academy, you got a lot going on besides school in your life. So they don't take as many credit hours per semester as other schools do. Anthony.
What real life application will this have?
Because that is what the remainder does, is it's divided by the divisor to get your official remainder. If you don't do that, you can't put an equal sign between this. And you'll notice I even did that with the real numbers too. That's how you maintain equality between the two instead of approximation. And let's be honest, who doesn't want their plane to land exactly on the runway? Polly.
I thought you put like the R instead of the plus.
You can. That's so Roombas. Let's pretend your parents bought a Roomba, but they never showed you how to sweep. Would you ever want to learn how to sweep? No, you just want to find the remote to the Roomba and hit it. They got to teach you how to sweep first and then buy you the Roomba. Or just get you a little brother that can sweep for you, one of the two. What's a Roomba? It's a robot that sweeps for you. Okay.
I was gonna say,
Why would they ever teach you to sweep if you could buy a robot?
Because Lillian, not everybody has $400 sitting in their I don't want to sweep ever again in my life fund. So some people, they got it rough and they have to sweep by themselves.
No, if they were to buy you a Roomba anyway.
To build character, hello. Hashtag good kids, well behaved, the polynomials of the children. Well behaved, right, good. I'm glad some of you got that joke. Good job. Yes, Anthony.
I'm pretty sure Roomba's vacuum.
yeah,
Whatever. You sure?
yeah, it's a vacuum.
Pretty sure I have a Roomba. Well, how do you think it gets the dust up? It vacuums it into the Roomba.
Yeah, vacuum. That's weird.
You're saying it vacuums, not sweeps.
Because sweep, you just push it in.
A rough life my children have. I still make my 6-year-old vacuum his room. It's pretty soon he's gonna want a Roomba for Christmas. I don't vacuum my room anymore. What's that? Why?
What do you want? I want a Roomba.
I don't know if it'd be sad or not. I have to think about that one. That could be joyous for me. Then I wouldn't have to vacuum either. But like, oh yeah, you can get a Roomba for Christmas. Sure. Knock yourself out. Can I use it too? Hashtag sharing. You would, if you got a Roomba, you wouldn't share with your brother or sister, Mackenzie? You'd be like, tough luck, go vacuum.
Yeah.
Some people's children. All right. What else? Ready for an example on your own, or want to do another one together? Okay, volunteer. I need a volunteer. Megan, easy or hard one? Easy. All right. Megan's going for one of those really easy hard ones. Let's go for this. X. What's that? Oh, yeah, I said an easy hard one. So, no, this is an easy one. None of them are really that hard. They're just tedious. X to the fourth minus 3x to the third plus 7x minus 1. Oh, how easy should we make this one? Let's make it easy. X minus 4. Try it out on your own. Just get the first term done, actually. Just get the first term done. Marks gets that math. Okay, volunteer. What was the thing I have to remember not to forget when I'm writing it down? Rachel, I know you got this. Somebody else, somebody else, somebody else. Delgado, you answer question yet? Anthony, fire away.
Hold the place.
Right, you got to hold that x squared place. Doesn't work out if you don't hold it. And you should notice that because your like terms don't match up. You're going to get like an x up here and an x squared down there. What question am I going to ask next? Braden, you got it? Rachel, what am I going to ask next? And what is it? X cubed, right. X times what gives you x to the fourth? X cubed. So then I multiply everything by x cubed here. So that gives me x to the fourth minus 4x cubed. What operation do I do? Subtract, so that changes both of the signs. Those go away. Yay! Negative 3 minus 4 gives me a 1x cubed. Do I need to write that one there? Not necessarily. What do I bring down next? Plus 0x squared. Stop and check up. Questions? Yep, Lillian.
I don't understand.
What'd you get?
Where did the 4x cubed come from?
Sure. I take this x cubed. You got how we get the x cubed there?
Yeah.
So I take that and I multiply by both. The x times that gives me x to the fourth. X cubed times negative 4 gives me negative 4x cubed. But then what operation do I do? Subtract, which changes it to a positive. Yeah. And that's how negative 3 plus 4 gives me 1.
Oh, wait.
You're welcome.
When
Braden.
you bring down the next thing, you only bring down one.
Right. You only bring down one at a time. The only very, very, very rare exception to that is if both of these happen to cancel out and you got 0. Like you just got 0. That was your answer. Then you need to bring down 2 terms. Very rare exception, though. Other questions? All right, finish it on your own. Now, here's what's the really bad news of this. If you make a mistake right here, what happens? Everything, and I do emphasize the word everything after it is wrong. So you really got to be detail-oriented on this. You got to check and make sure. There's no hurry on these. Make sure you check and make sure the details are right. Don't look at me like that, Savannah. Detail-oriented is a very important life skill. Like if you schedule your wedding for 4:30, but schedule everything else for 5, that's going to be bad news bears when 4:30 comes up and you're like, what? Detail-oriented, very important. Or even worse, you're signing up for classes next year and you forget to write please not Beckman, not ever. And then you end up with Beckman again next year and you're like the same jokes another year. I can't mentally do it. Yeah, detail-oriented, very important. Anybody done wants to get up there and do the next one? Hobbs? Only 2 months till the next dance. No, because I haven't done this one. Dude, I just make up problems on the spot. I don't like pre-plan these out. If I pre-plan them out, then good things aren't going to happen. I make them up so we run into the nasty stuff. There you go. Think you're good? Okay, here you go, brother. Go up and do it. Try it out. Yes. Yeah, you can take off. I'm going to go see it.
It's got 4 minutes.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to put the homework up there in just a second. I'm just going to go check, make sure we can borrow books.
They can't see it. So.
You hold up for just a second. Yeah, look at that math.
Are you good?
Good. Keep on going.
All right.
Move just a slight bit up, brother. Ooh, Mr. Hobbs, questions for him. Hashtag future high school math teacher here at Discovery Canyon campus. Yeah.
That's right.
Hobbs, what do you want to do when you get old?
I don't know. I've got a lot of time till I get old.
You got a lot of time to figure it out, but you look, high school math things are good for you. I will put it up there just like that.
Oh, wait. That's right.
What?
So, any questions on that? Yes. Great and fire away.
I thought it'd be x cubed plus x squared plus 4x minus 9 plus 3 plus 8.
How'd you
I
get?
thought it'd be minus 9 instead plus 3. Whatever.
Because you forgot, look up one line.
Yeah.
It was
but-
4x squared minus 16x. Don't forget you have to change that to a plus 16x because you subtract.
Oh,
and that-
okay, never mind, never mind.
No, and that is the jeopardy of these. The bad news is how many mistakes do you get to make? Yeah. Yeah. And that's really the difference between algebra 1 and algebra 2 and geometry. Algebra 1 and algebra 2, if you make a mistake, algebra 1 and geometry, you make a mistake and really doesn't have a lot of carryover the rest of the problem. These, yeah, bad news bears. When you make a mistake, it can ruin multiple steps of the rest. So the good news is today your homework's out of the book. The answers are in the back. Now, more than likely, it looks like I'm actually have lots of time for you to work on the class today. So take advantage. I will keep the answers up there if you want to compare before you go on. Brayden, keep going.
Just trying to figure it out. No.
Okay, Lisa.
I added 22 and 91, and then I divided it by x minus 4.
The only thing that should have an x minus 4 beneath it is the 94. Because that's what's left over. That's the remainder that we don't have anything else. Other questions? There was another one, Savannah. Do you have your hand up?
No, I figured it out.
Okay. Anybody else? Right. Just kind of by show of hands. How many? I got two options for you. Head on to homework or do another together.
Homework.
Whoa. Raise your hand, people. Don't influence. That's like going up to the voting booth and saying, if you don't vote for blah blah blah, I'm gonna kill all of you, and then be like, well, look at that. Look who won president. No, don't poison the ballot box. How many of you want to do another one together? No poison in the ballot box there. How many of you homework? I can't wait to get to it. Yes, but I tricked you all. You don't have homework. You have what? Fun work, because you can have fun.
Can we have the fun work?
Anywhere, yes, you can. Any questions before you go on? Lillian, I'll be here to help you. It's not like I'm gonna go take a nap over there. Okay, now what do you want first? The good news or the bad news? Guess how many copies of this book I have? Uno. Guess how many of you there are?
More than one.
More than uno. So we are going to just put it up there. When I need to move on, I'll just move it over on the camera. I'm sorry. Usually I can borrow books from Mr. Rainford, but he's getting observed this period, so I don't want to send like 30 of you in there. So I will try to see if I can get somebody else to loan me their copies of the books. In fact, I know somebody who can. Here's your assignment. Now, if you haven't already realized, all the odd answers are where? Back in the book. How many odd problems should you do before you check the answers? 1. Right. As soon as you do a problem, you check it. There's no purpose and no point on doing like 15 of them wrong. Like, let's go back to the orthodontics example real quick. You can imagine your orthodontist, he gets some new braces in. He puts like 40 of them in. They're all wrong. He's like, didn't you read the package? They're like, what package? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I knew the darnest. Yeah, you want to read the instructions. Same thing. It's not acceptable in the adult world. As soon as you do one, you check to make sure if it's right or not. The best way to learn how to do math is by figuring out the mistakes you made. Because over time, you will notice that, hey, I make a lot of minus sign mistakes. So every time there's a minus sign involved, I'm like extra careful because that's, I know, was my weakness. Jillian.
Why do you have like 13 minus 17?
13 through 17 odd. But Jillian Hughes, in fact, all y'all, don't you let me tell you who's boss. You want to do 13 through 17 all? You do 13 through 17 all. Bam. In fact, you go up to your parents and be like, "Listen, Mom, I'm bad at school today. Beckman told me to do 13 through 17 odd. I did 13 through 17 all." You show that teacher who's boss. Braden.
Can I take pictures of it?
What's that?
Can I take pictures of it?
Yeah, of course.